AI is transformative. I predict that it's going to change the way channel managers run the channel and engage with the partners. It's like having a cam on steroids. You'll have to be able to tap into your data lakes, right? Your CRM, CDP that have all your data so that you can build models that let you extract that kind of AI intelligence. One thing to be very much aware of is that it is not a magic bullet. You'll need some channel specialists still. AI cannot replace them that both understand the business, but probably that are more data scientist driven at the same time. AI will lower the barrier of entry to build channel. And I think I love your recent post on Atlassian, right? Where you explain how they went to market and the kind of KPIs and growth they experience. Many companies will be able to go faster and at a lower cost into the channel, I think, in the future. So it's good for all of us, right? Only the innovators who adopt AI early will outperform the competitors, right? In ways I think we cannot imagine. And for me, there is three things that will differentiate the winners from the losers.
Our sponsor is Partner Insight, your AI co-pilot to grow your partnerships 3x faster. Onboard and collaborate with partners from one shared platform. Seamlessly exchange and track deals, content, and data. Use AI to automate engagements, track progress, create reports, or answer frequent partner questions. Try Partner Insight for free.
Hi Fabrice, great to have you today.
Hi Roman, thank you for having me.
It's going to be an amazing conversation. You've been into building collaboration products for a while. You started as an entrepreneur, and then you're now VP of product in Salesforce working on PRM solutions. And I think we are having this discussion in a very interesting moment when AI is coming along. Many people think it's going to change the picture across B2B SaaS in general, but probably in partnerships too. I'm really looking forward to discuss all of this today, but let's start with talking about your experience and how did you came to building for partnerships? How did you came to building for collaboration? Tell us a little bit more about your story.
It's been a journey. So I'm French, born and raised in France, graduated in applied mathematics and computer science. Had the chance to live and work in different countries in Europe, the UK, where you are right now, the Netherlands, Bulgaria, Spain, and I called San Francisco home in 2007. So I started with two startups in SaaS document collaboration, one of them. So I was very much involved into document review approval, and that's where I really cut my teeth. And fast forward 2012, I joined Salesforce as a product manager, building what we call today the Experience Cloud, which is powering the digital transformation for B2C, B2B side. And I focus mostly on partner relationship management. So this is, I call it my baby here at Salesforce. And I've been building and growing that product and interacting with many channel experts and discussing how to grow channel, but also collaborate with partners. So it's been a very interesting journey, to say the least.
Partnership is a very, very interesting subject. It's at the same time sort of simple and very complex. And I think there's a lot of different terms kind of floating around all this ecosystem and stuff. And I'm sort of curious, like when you think about partnerships as a BPO product, right? How do you like define your ICP, like people you're building towards?
Historically, the term PRM, partner relationship management, identify those partners who resell your product, mostly in high tech or manufacturing to a certain extent. We're talking about the resellers, VAR, MSP, SI, ISV, you name it, right? So historically, it's been that population. I think you had Jay McBain on one of your previous podcasts, who is a fantastic expert on the channel who explained this area. But also Jay is mentioning that the channel is changing, the type of partners is changing. And we see it used to be more transactional partners in that sense, right? Your reseller, your VAR, when today, many of your partners are more influencers, right? Or they will refer you on deals. It could be people who post on social media. It could be an accountant who is going to refer your product. So we see different type of partners across different industries. We're talking about healthcare. We are talking about financial services, agent and brokers. We're talking about telco. So I think each industry has, in a way, its own flavor of partner and relationship, and they are not created equal in a sense. Some will be much more transactional, right? They will sell for you. Some others will just influence some deals and maybe promote your brand, right? So the space has evolved over the years.
You sort of aligned with me in a sense that you also think that partnership is a growth engine. Can you talk a little bit more, like from this perspective, like how do you perceive partnerships? Are they sort of like more influencers? Are they more revenue generating? Like how do you think partners help companies to grow faster? I think it's maybe like seemingly simple question, but it's very interesting to see this from the lens of like a product manager who typically distills concept to the very core.
First of all, I think in many companies, selling indirect is misunderstood, right? Most of the company understand what it means to sell direct, to have sales reps. They do not understand the true potential of partners, selling through partners through that motion, and how they can grow the business at a lower cost too. I think you had recently a post last week on this that I found fantastic. And by the way, thank you for all the evangelization you are doing to educate people on the channel. I think what you're doing is fantastic. And your post mentioned that many SaaS companies are rediscovering the power of channel because it's much cheaper to have a partner, right, to go to market and sell your product than having sales reps. Especially, by the way, if you are in Europe, when you are in a very segregated market. In some other regions like Asia, you have no choice. Everything is done through the channel, right? Affiliates, and you name it. So this is critical, I think, to many companies who seek growth. And we see it, by the way, in the Bay Area here, where you have many high-tech and manufacturing company. They make, think of a Cisco, like they make over 80% of the business through the channel. Same thing for Google, Apple. They are building huge partner networks. And why? Because this is the only way to scale eventually, right? This is the only way you're going to have someone in the discussion when you have a deal, right? You remember probably Microsoft. Why did Microsoft become so successful, right? It's not because they had the best product, right? It's because they built the best channel. They had 1 million+ partners that were present in every single deals, right? It means that they have a seat at the table. It means that there's always someone promoting the Microsoft brand and they have more chance to generate more revenue. So I think in a way, companies need to recognize that they need to really consider the channel as a strategic growth initiative. Obviously, the caveat here is that it is not simple, and it's something we can double click on later.
What is interesting about you as well is that you've been an entrepreneur, so you know like how sort of management sort of thinks, right? The next question is related to that. When CEO sort of asks their partnership manager or like head of partnerships, like what is a KPI of your initiatives, right? Typically, it's an interesting conversation. Measuring partnerships are pretty difficult, and because you're building products for partnerships, how have you seen partnerships being measured, and what is the best practice? Maybe like its evolution as well.
This is such an important question. I think first, and people who have built partner programs know it, you start with overall vision and strategy, right? For what are you trying to achieve? Are you trying to sell more? Are you trying to provide better support? Are you trying to grow your brand awareness through partners? There's many ways you can think of partner program. Then you design a partner program. It's very important to design it with a win-win in mind, right? It's not just for your company to make more business. There has to be something for the partner, right? And typically you can see when you look at the partner program landing page, you can see all the benefits of the program. It's very transparent, right? And you know why as a partner you want to get into that partnership. Now, fast forward and assume that you recruited the right partners for your program, which is another critical aspect, right? You don't want any partner, you want the right partner. Typically, you need to measure everything. You need to measure, in a sense, the leading indicators and the lagging indicators. Leading indicators will be probably how active are your partners engaged on the sites? logins, the time they spent on the site, the content they read, right? We did recently with a customer a full redesign of the portal site, right? They had that 90-like look on the portal. You remember this looks very much very boxy. They redesigned the entire site, and they had a 3x in engagement, 3x in time spent on the site. There is statistics that show that over 50% of the partners have a hard time finding content on websites. That's why it's very important to make it easy. So those are kind of the leading indicators. The lagging indicators will be the deals registered, right? The training and certification completed. It might be the MDF marketing funds being used. It might be the opportunities closed. So those are more the business specific indicators. You do want to build dashboards for each of the business process you enable in a portal. Typically, you don't do that at once because by experience, we know very well that customers don't launch the MVP of the partner portal with all the capabilities, right? You probably are going to pick one or two. You want to establish with your team clear metrics and dashboards to measure success. It will let you, by the way, fine-tune that business process, and eventually you introduce another one. So you might start, for example, with partner recruitment and onboarding and training and certification with an LMS, right? You have dashboards for this, maybe 2 or 3 dashboards, and then you move to the next one, right? Maybe you bring deal registration, opportunity management, you introduce marketing funds, and so on. So those are very important metrics that are a bit more operational. And I would say finally, one of the things I see a lot in the field, many CFO, when they start having more tools to measure the performance of the channel, love it because they have a view on the direct and indirect sales, right? So they can get the full 360 on the business, right? So there is probably some metrics that are more operational on the business processes. There are metrics that are more at exec level. And the last one, I will say one thing that is very critical, and I think you understand that very well. Many partnerships are managed by what we call the CAM, Channel Account Manager, or the Partner Manager. And it's very important that you can build the proper dashboards for those people to manage their accounts, right? They might just be working with one account when it's a key account. They might be working with 5 or 10 accounts. Or in some cases, I've seen CAM working with hundreds of accounts, right? So how do you do daily a good job and start your day and know what you need to focus on? You need those dashboards and metrics on your top performers, low performers, and know what you can do to impact that performance and grow them to the next level.
Quick question related to metrics. I think this has been like a big discussion in partnership circles related to sourced revenue versus influenced revenue, right? And you also mentioned in your previous comment about partners being at the table increasing conversion, right? The fact that the partners involved in deal or involved in discussions or in increased conversion. This is like sort of one thing. And then another thing that I wanted to ask you is related to this to some extent, that partners not necessarily love going to someone else's portals. If these portals are helpful, then they obviously will go there and they will consume information and register deal and all this stuff. My question is, how do you deal with those like two trends? One of them is figuring out how to attribute influence revenue, and second one, how do you engage partners through like software?
Let's start with revenue attribution, right? When you get partner source revenue, for example, through reseller of VARs, you could typically do it through a deal reg. And the way you will track the attribution, I'll give you a typical example of customers, the way they will do it with us. A partner will register a deal, right? It's being reviewed by the channel account manager. So there is maybe a day or two until it can be approved or rejected. When it's being reviewed, actually, you are going to see if there is any other deals related, right? So that if there's none, you accept the deal, and the deal really become, in our world, it moves from a lead to an opportunity. So it's part of your pipeline and it goes back to the partner. And typically what happens is that as you move to that opportunity, the partner is still attached to it, right? And he has a certain number of days to close the deal, because many of the programs give you 60 to 90 days to close a deal that is approved. So that's why you do, and as the deal gets approved and closes, then you can attribute revenue to the partner. So this one is pretty easy, right? There are other processes. Think of lead distribution when the vendor passes a lead to the partner. This one is straightforward because in a CRM system, you assign the lead to a partner and it's attributed automatically. Where it can become a bit more fuzzy, I would say, is when partners start to influence deals, right? For example, at Salesforce, I'll give you an example at Salesforce. So we have a huge ecosystem of SI partners. So the SI are system implementers, right? They're going to implement the Salesforce software, and they're going to refer us on some deals, right? And our partner program states clearly that they get an attribution when they do that. And the way we do it typically is that a partner can simply refer a deal with this customer existing on you. And when the opportunity is created, there is a specific field that is going to track that partner so that the revenue later, if that opportunity closes, the revenue can be attributed. Of course, when you think of other, I'll give you another example where referral is very relevant. Think of the accounting company, software accounting company like Intuit, here in the US. They want to get the accountant to refer the product. So typically, the lead referral will be super easy. They will let the accountant have lead referral, as we say that, and the system will really track when the customer purchased, right? The system will really track if it came from that accountant. There are many pitfalls into that, I think, to have full attribution specifically on deals that are influenced. And where it gets a bit tricky, I think, is think of social media, right? You might have some influencers, right, who you are kind of paying to promote your brand, and that could get somewhat tricky, right? Sometimes you have an influencer promoting your brand, and the customer might say, "Hey, I'm coming to you because I heard about that influencer," but it might not be always that easy to track those leads. One thing we do with customers is that one way you can address this is by creating affiliate links or co-branded landing page, right? So an example of co-branded landing page will be, "Hey, I am promoting your solar panel product," right? So the vendor will create a co-branded landing page with the information of the affiliates. He can put his branding and so on. And there's just a form to capture the lead, right? And in that case, when you capture the lead, the system also behind the scene capture where the lead from which affiliate is coming from. So this is one way you can address this. But there is obviously on business influence by partners, much more nuance, I would say.
Yeah, I mean, influencer is frankly very difficult to attribute. I mean, obviously you can embed all these deep links, and I had some success, especially with sort of links in bio and also deep links. But still, it's sort of easy when you have like a big influencer, you have like huge uptick in traffic, and you can all kind of see it like very clearly that there's an uptick in traffic, and then all this acquisitions within this period seems to be attributable. But generally speaking, I think it's not trivial problem to have, to be honest. Things that I wanted also to talk with you about through the lens of product manager. How do you see, what are the sort of best practices emerging, and maybe some evolution in terms of like how companies structure the partner program? And I know that you have partner program canvas that you refer in Salesforce, right? I would love you to maybe like talk a little bit more. What do you think is learnings that you, or maybe things that are not intuitive that you learned over building this like partner management?
As you mentioned, we created a partner relationship management canvas. It's really a strategic map to help you think about the different aspects of building a channel. And that's something we can share in the link if you want of the podcast. I'm super happy to share it. I think I can talk about how the space has evolved a bit in a way you build highly performing uh, partner experiences. Again, historically, the focus has been on transactional partners, building bronze, silver, gold programs, and you want to grow everyone to top performers. So that's why you have your tier one partners that you spend more time on, and they do those 20% of the tier one partners bring 80% of the business. So it has been a bit that view. The channel and the way you go to market is evolving. You want to be able to serve both transactional and non-transactional partner. So those are your influencers, the people who are going to promote your brand, right, and refer your product. Your job today as a vendor, when you think about the different type of partners, is more, I think, as an enabler, right? A big transformation is digital, right? Gone are the days where you take the phone or you print a fax to engage with your partners. You need to provide, in a way, a very optimized digital experience, right, on your portal site that is very low touch. So you need to think about providing even modern B2C-like experiences to your partners. They're just expecting that. It's been a big shift in the last few years. Not only it has to be modern, but you need to think about providing a truly personalized experience. And we talk a lot in the canvas about defining your journey, the partner journey. Each partner, right, needs to have a very clear journey defined, right? It's not like you're going to have just a single journey for your partners, because one partners could be a reseller, another one could be an influencer, and they might expect different things, and they might not want to transact with you that much, but they might still bring value to your business. So you really need to understand that and translate it into your site experience. Another change I will really consider too is becoming omni-channel. It's not enough, I think, nowadays to just be on the website, on the desktop version. You need also to bring some mobile capabilities, whether it's by being mobile responsive or by providing even a mobile app to interact with your partners. You could embed the collaboration apps, whether it's Slack that we have here or WhatsApp, you name it, to facilitate engagement with the partners. Now, I think other trends we see, and that might not be in the canvas, by the way, is that sometimes there's new models that companies are developing that I call high touch win-win, right? That really focus on collaborating with specific partners. So nowadays, partners attract, they have very detailed profile, right? And you know the skills, the specialization. And let's say you are launching a product, you want to promote, you have a promotion for a product in a specific region, right? You might have a high touch go-to-market approach with select partners, you create your co-branded assets and you go to market with them, and you kind of repeat that approach multiple times instead of having more of a generic program. So that's one way to think about a new way of engagement. The last thing I'll leave you on, and that's something I think we'll discuss later, the rules of engagement and the rules of growing the business are going to be reinvented, specifically with AI and by the ability, I think, to be able to tap into what I call the channel data cloud, right? So we talk a lot about customer data platform. I think all the data that is around your channel that I call channel data cloud is still untapped opportunity to grow your channel, to grow your partner. And this is a huge opportunity for the future, I think.
I'm super excited to talk with you about that. And just before we do that, I would love to ask you, you just mentioned Slack, right? And I think Salesforce has like a really powerful partner relationship management product. At the same time, Slack has all these shared channels, which in a sense being like a growth engine for Slack, just sort of before Salesforce acquired it. How do you see this sort of interact? Do they Do they work together, or do they kind of separately? Are they merging over time? Like how do you see companies using them successfully?
I'm not here to promote Salesforce and Slack, but since you ask, I'll share a bit of news on what we're doing here. We're going to announce later this year a Slack app for partners, and really the gist of it is the following. We want to make it easy for partners and vendors to collaborate and interact on Slack. And we think of Slack as being a light touch glue tissue between both worlds. So, for example, we want to let partners who are on Slack get an automatic notification when they receive a lead, right? We want to let partners know, even submit a deal registration from Slack. So it might be on the road, they can do it very easily. So without having to log to the portal, so it's very handy, and they get notified when it's approved. At the same time, they can go back and work on the deal later on the portal site. But in a way, the Slack layer provide that business collaboration, not just exchanging, having discussion, but it provide that business collaboration to move faster, right, on different business processes that truly matters at that moment. It might also be that you are, as a partner, working on the big deals, and you really need, you are quoting on that deal, and you need some help because the discount doesn't work, or you are in a competitive situation. So instead of having waiting 3 days to get the answer, you can go to a Slack channel and engage with the channel managers. So those are some of the ideas, and eventually, by the way, AI will come into it, right? Again, but those are some of the ideas of powering better collaboration, business collaborations between the vendors and the partners. And the last part, I think, that is also very powerful. I see a lot. Many vendors have someone dedicated to drive engagement, news on the site, and Slack could play a role in pushing information to the partners, right? Broadcast that information and maybe make it easier to engage, right? So there's many different use cases we're super excited about, and it's for us it's coming out later this year.
I look forward to viewing Slack and Salesforce kind of tied together around partnerships. But let's talk about AI. I think AI seems to be destined to change a lot of things in business in general, and I think it will influence partnerships in a big way as well, because what we talked about just recently about engagements, staying top of mind on partners, kind of bringing like the most available information, and so on. And this is just my like top of mind thoughts. I would love to get your opinion. What are the things that you think will be changed, and so like what is the time horizon that you're sort of thinking?
AI is going to be transformative for the channel, and maybe if I can, I'd like to take a step back to set the context of where we are today. So first of all, AI is not new, right? We've had some AI with Einstein since 2015. Okay, what is new and what is all the rage in the Silicon Valley right now is ChatGPT, right? And I think ChatGPT is a bit changing the game because it feels like you are interacting with a human, right? With someone who looks like it's intelligent when it's not, right? And without going into detail, ChatGPT is really not intelligent. There is actually a very good, if people are interested to learn a bit what's behind ChatGPT, there's a good paper from Rama Ramkrishnan. He's a professor at MIT. It's called The Road to ChatGPT. And I do recommend people to read it to understand how it works. I can share the link with you, right? And I think what is changing right now is the interface, right? Before, when we think about AI, it was very hard to interact. When ChatGPT made it very easy, right? You ask a question, we call a prompt, you get an answer. and it's an answer that looks like it's written by a human, right? And that's why they're really good. Yet people should understand that at the current stage of the technology, we are just it's like having the first computer, right, from IBM. We're at that stage, right? It's super early, and you cannot yet always fully trust the results. So why it's transformative for the channel and businesses? I think ChatGPT is built on public AI models. So pretty much the index all the text data available through books, the crawlers, the internet, and they build their own public models, right? So public information, right? Now the same models are built within the company, right? Using your ERP data, your back office data, your CRM data, your CDP data, you name it, right? And now with ChatGPT, you've seen there's a lot of partnership happening, partnership with Microsoft, with Snap, with HubSpot, with us, Salesforce, where we're and we are all. And by the way, again, power of the partnership, right? Uh, and and everybody's bringing that ChatGPT into the product, which means that now they'll have public model to tap into public data and their own private data model, right? This is very powerful. And just to give you some example before going to the channel, just to both HubSpot and us announced nearly at 1 week difference our new capability for CRM, right? And that's what you can do now, right? Salespeople, right? They can use, in our case, Einstein GPT, we call it. Use Einstein GPT to reply to an email to follow up on a lead as a sales rep, right? Our support agent can use Einstein GPT to automatically reply to a case and even close the case and create the knowledge article associated to that case without any effort, right? Think about not data analysis, right? You could, as a data analyst, have a conversation with your AI and drill down into the data, get some insights, and maybe create a new target audience for a marketing campaign you want to run, right? Talking about marketing, you can use AI to create a landing page or the text, generate the banner image, and even tell him to execute the campaign, right? So this is a great assistant. By the way, I love what you guys are doing at Partner Insights. You have I think the AI Copilot, right? It's another example where you can get assisted by AI, maybe to have an exchange Q&A with your partners, or the things. And I'd love to hear more about what you guys are doing too in that area. But the opportunities are huge in general, right?
Completely agree with you. And I think, obviously, top of mind cases that we implemented and what you mentioned as well. So we implemented all these follow-ups on different like deals, tasks, and so on. AI writing you like status updates with your partnerships, creating like meeting agenda, including all open like opportunities and tasks and so on. But I think I really love what you mentioned before about AI tapping into your partnership sort of data, right, and kind of generating insights on top of it. And other things that came to mind is that I was watching Sam Altman interview with Lex Friedman talking about how people use GPT-4 or like GPT-4, and Sam Altman was saying that actually people now use it as a more like a search engine, but instead they might consider using it as a reasoning help. So for example, brainstorming or like asking for ideas. And Bill Gates actually was saying exactly the same. So they are thinking about AI more from a insight generation sort of perspective rather than just querying it. But yeah, would love you to talk a little bit more about AI tapping into partnership data and sort of more advanced use cases that you think might be not available today, but might be coming along in a year or two.
Yeah, absolutely. And by the way, I just watched the same podcast, Alex Friedman and Sam Altman. It's a fantastic one, a must watch. So I'll answer your question in 2 steps. Okay. uh, I just want to take a step back and share my thoughts on what I see is changing for the organization that run channel, and then I'll move into some concrete examples on what I think is going to happen, right? So first of all, AI is transformative, right? And I predict that it's going to change the way channel managers run the channel and engage with the partners. It's like having a cam on steroids. I like it. And what it means is that, again, it's if you have to be able to tap into your data lakes, right? Your CRM, CDP that have all your data, so that you can build models that let you extract that kind of AI intelligence. One thing to be very much aware of is that it is not a magic bullet, right? And you'll need some channel specialists still. AI cannot replace them, that both understand the business, but probably that are more data scientist driven at the same time. What I also predict is that because AI will lower the barrier of entry to build channel. And I think I love your recent post on Atlassian, right? Where you explain how they went to market and the kind of KPIs and growth they experience. Many companies will be able to go faster and at a lower cost into the channel, I think, in the future. So it's good for all of us, right? And only the innovators who adopt AI early will outperform the competitors, right? In ways I think we cannot imagine. And for me, there is three things that will differentiate the winners from the losers. First, you want to be an early adopter, right? And probably early adopter means that you have a first win with AI. Is it on onboarding? Is it on marketing funds, closing opportunities, you name it, but you need to have your first win. And that's how you're going to develop some in-house expertise and learn that technology. So phase two, you're probably going to build your AI practice. It's something that does not exist in channel teams today. It will become a reality, I think, in the next 2 or 3 years. We do, by the way, we do have customers who already do it. I cannot share the names, but I know customers who are very much we're doing that. But this is more the exception than the rules today. And one thing I see happening in the channel is the role of channel data scientists, people who will be able to tap into that data, right? But also help build those models. And it's going to be probably culture shift, I think, for many of these channel teams. And that person will probably be very close to the chief of strategy for your channel and people who run revenue ops and IT, right? Because you won't be able to do that without some help of IT, whether because they're going to build some of the AI or they're going to build it on top of the tools they acquired from Salesforce or the company. And finally, the winners will go through a multi-year transformation, right? It's not going to happen overnight again, right? And I think eventually, I see the winners by the one who really can embed AI and intelligence in every aspect of the channel process, from recruitment, onboarding, through marketing and sales and support. So I can give you a few examples on where I see AI playing. And I think you mentioned a few already. So think of a channel management, right? Partner recruitment, right? The AI is going to help you first build the profile you are looking for, right? And also accept or reject the candidates, right? That one is an easy one for AI. So you can recruit the right partners. When you think of onboarding journey for your new partners, AI will help you build very highly personalized journeys that are more outcome based. So again, it's going to use data to analyze, hey, what are the actions that drive better outcome and probably help you adapt your onboarding journeys. When you think about growing the business, right, your chief data scientist, right, will probably use the channel data cloud to be able to identify new opportunities, right, based on geos, based on markets, on verticals, and identify also the right partners to execute those opportunities. So this is a high touch win-win I mentioned earlier. I love the example of the AI copilot that you guys have at Partner Insights, right? Just very efficient Q&A with your partners, right? right? So where you can provide them the right information automatically. So you can lower the load on the channel account manager and let him focus on a higher value task. Other example is using AI for partner coverage, right? Do you have the right coverage across regions? You might be launching a new product. How are you going to have the proper coverage? And you tie that back to partner recruitment, right? Business planning, right? You do a lot of business planning with your key partners. AI will let you create a summary of the performance of your partner to prepare with the meeting. It will help you create goals. It will help you create metrics to measure performance. And it will help you also go through the quarterly review. And it will do the same for the partner, on the other hand, to see how it's performing. So this has many examples on channel management side. Now, when I think about incentives, think of about MDF. And by the way, we have a customer, a big that use our MDF for marketing funds, right? Who is looking at AI. The main thing they're looking at today is about MDF has the process where you send a fund request to your vendor so you can get funds for marketing activities. So they want to automate that process because they get it into the tens of thousands a year, right? So this is a great way to use AI to maybe automatically approve the low one or the one for partners you trust and just send to your approver the one that needs to be reviewed, right? And there's really two ways I think AI will work with you. Either it will be do it with me mode, right? Where the AI assists the account manager, or it is going to be a do it for me. In that sense, the AI is going to take the decision, right? It assumes also that the model is highly performant. Now, moving to sales, an obvious one that is has huge potential is lead distribution, right? You are generating leads, you want to pass to your partners, and just imagine an AI that can just identify the right partner or partners if you want to give a choice to partners and automatically assign that lead to the right partners. The AI should also do what we call next best action. As the partner engaged on the lead, the AI should tell the partner what are the action that will increase the chance to convert that lead into an opportunity. Right? Should I add that lead to a trade show? Should I send a specific email with some assets, marketing assets attached to it? So those are great examples. And finally, when you think about the actual deal, the opportunity, just think about AI helping you when you do the quote to cash process, right? Maybe the AI is going to help you upsell. Maybe the AI is going to help you apply the right discount. And if, by the way, you are going over your discount limit, it might create a deal room in Slack, and the AI is going to bring the right people on the vendor side, and you can chat, right? So super interesting use case. And looking at support also is going to be disrupted by AI. And I think Sam Altman mentioned that, right? He mentioned that it's going really to change the way we provide support. And what I see for the channel specifically, there's many partners who act as tier one support, right? So they are the one who are going to get the case from the partner. And sometimes the case is escalated to vendor if they cannot solve. So why don't you think about AI assisting the partner to do a better job at supporting the customers, meaning that the customer is happier and you get less cases escalated. So there's so many use cases where AI fits into providing better productivity, growing the business, growing brand awareness. Yeah, I think it's just the potential is just amazing.
I'm happy to see how excited you are, and I'm pretty excited myself, and I think it is indeed a transformational moment in sort of history, and I think obviously to what you said, it's probably going to be do it with me in the beginning, and then probably will gradually move into do it for me. And if I were a sort of partnership manager, I would probably be like more excited than threatened right now, because I think it should sort of help partnership managers to elevate their game and kind of do more. And generally speaking, I think partnerships teams are always sort of stretched, right? They also need to have to do a lot of things themselves, and I think AI should help them. So I would love to finish our discussion on the note of sort of collaboration. And I think what AI emergence of ChatGPT revealed is that when sort of new technology emerges, how collaborative it becomes, right? Like you mentioned, like HubSpot implemented ChatGPT, you implemented ChatGPT, and even though they themselves collaborate with Microsoft, this company is sort of competitive to some extent, but they collaborate in through this new technology. I would love your opinion. How do you think this new emergence of AI at scale will change the nature of collaboration?
Interesting one and a hard one, I think. I think so. First of all, I think AI will play its role into assisting you as an individual, right? It will assist you into, I will say, one-to-one collaboration, right? And we mentioned a few examples on business planning. I still have a question on how it's going to impact or change the way we collaborate as humans. Is it going to make us more collaborative or not? Because in a way, people compare AI as the intelligence, right? So you get the answer. Will you still need, for example, will you still have those meetings when you brainstorm ideas, strategy, or will it be tomorrow an AI you will tell you, hey, this is probably your best opportunity, just go and execute. I don't think we'll get there, but this is very interesting, the way it could potentially change the way we work. This is, by the way, something I'm personally super interested, as you can see. I wrote my own blog on Substack, and I'm probably going to write many articles on the impact and of AI, not just on the channel, but on this aspect of collaboration. So yeah, I think it's still very unclear for me. And I might return the question to you. What do you think, Roman?
I think you're right. I mean, this is a sort of like optimist and pessimist perspective, right? On this thing, I'm trying to get more optimist perspective, which is like, it's going to be like Iron Man suit, right? So people will do more, and they will be enabled with the best ideas and the best sort of helpers. So people who want to, keep like improving, they will keep improving. And people who don't want to be improving, they will be forced to keep improving. So I hope that this will sort of elevate those, like, all sort of boats someday. I hope that we will sort of, as a result, we will produce like 10x outcomes as a society and as a sort of companies. And I think what is interesting for me, and the reason why I ask you this question, is that also it's like big moments of transformation force businesses to collaborate with each other, even when they are sort of competitive in nature. They have to like figure out, okay, like, yes, we are competing on this front, but we actually, it's like an important moment to collaborate. And I hope that will force people to do more partnerships, and this will like improve business environment even further.
That's great.
All right, look, I really appreciate your time. I think it's been a fantastic discussion, and I really appreciate you sharing all of these insights that you learned in Salesforce, and I'm sure that you have more, and I'll look forward to having this discussion in a bit when we have a little bit more experience with AI. Thank you so much. The one thing that I want to ask you as well is like how people can connect with you and maybe like follow you.
Well, I'm on LinkedIn, obviously, and I write a blog on Substack called Product Management Bags. Thank you for having me, Roman. It's been a great time and a big fan of yours. So thank you again.